Hi guys, welcome to this 2023 recap of all the garments that I've knitted in 2023. My name is Claudia and this year has been a year with so much knitting and this is the first time that I feel like I've knitted a whole year round, and actually this video marks also 1 year on YouTube because last year on the January the 2nd in 2023 I uploaded my first ever video. I've reached 1,000 subscribers, more than 1,000, so thank you so much for everyone who subscribed. And today I want to talk all about my knitting, but I've chosen to only discuss garments because I've knitted so much and it's too much to put in one video. So yeah, welcome. I hope you enjoy. Um, if I want to show you everything that I've knitted in like stacks, this is stack number 1. Then I have, oops, it already is dropping. Stack, well, part 2, 3. I haven't folded it all that nice, and 4. So that is a whole lot to show you guys. And before I get into all these items, I want to talk about something first with you because I don't think it's normal to knit this much in 1 year. It is crazy. I've made a list of everything that I've made this year, like all my finished objects, and I came up to about 47 items. 47. That includes hats, a couple of Sophie scarves, socks, etc. But it's gift knits for babies, and it's so much. And I want to talk about the reason why I've knitted so much. And I've talked about this in knitting podcast before, but if you're new here, then especially this, sort of a disclaimer. 2023 has been a year of mental health and therapy knitting. I just call it therapy knitting. Um, Actually, since the COVID lockdowns, it became really hard in my life, to be honest. And it turned out to the point at the end of 2022 that I was getting burned out and depressed. So at the beginning of last year, in January 2023, I completely stopped working. I'm a teacher, by the way, so that's a really high, like intense job to do. And I couldn't do it anymore. So I got to be at home a lot. I needed to rest, work on myself, work on my energy, my mental health. So for the first 4 months, I didn't work at all. And since May, I slowly started to um, reintegrate at my job. So I went to more work like 2 hours a week and then 4 hours a week. But this meant that I had so much knitting time in these first half of the year because I actually started working more since September. So I had a whole lot of time to knit. Also, maybe good to know, I live in a household that I share, and I don't have kids. I don't have something else that really needed my attention. I could focus on myself and what I wanted to do, and that was knitting. So I knitted so much because I had so much time, but also it was really good for my mental health. It was a stress relief, a coping mechanism. It soothes me, it grounds me. Knitting means so much to me, also therapy wise, except or not only just making cute clothes and enjoying the arts and the craft and creating something, being creative, but also for my mental health. And that's what happened most of the first half of 2023. And then I started working more in September, as I said. But at that time, also my relationship ended, of 6 years. So that sucked, basically. And in a week, I'm finally moving out. and we're still living together 4 months in, and that's been hard. So knitting again became my coping mechanism, my escape, also the crafty enjoy part, but also a necessity for me, which meant that I kept on knitting like every spare time, which resulted in 47 finished objects. So it's not normal, but it hasn't been a normal year. And actually, I'll talk in the end of this video about some of my resolutions, knitting resolutions for 2024. One of them is knitting less, but also hopefully don't have the need to knit this much, because it isn't good for my bank account. But yeah, in this video I want to talk about all my garments, and that it's still 21 items. So 21 garments I'm going to show you in the order of finishing them, because I think I can tell like my progress, my journey in knitting this year, because last year I haven't knit that much. This is basically my second year of knitting. I had a couple of items last year, and this year I went crazy. So let's get into January. I'll start with my first, well, it's not my first sweater, but the first sweater that I actually really loved. And this is sweater number 18 by my favorite things, knitwear. And I love this so much. I like the shape of it, the pattern. I like the designer, as like she makes such cool stuff. I don't think it's really size inclusive, but I can't mention that with every pattern that I'm showing you. I just want to tell what I have chosen in that time. Lately I've been more conscious about that. But yeah, this is sweater number 18, which is a drop shoulder all over texture pattern with knits and pearls. So it's really easy. I made this in Drops Lima and Drops Kidsilk, and the Drops Lima is a navy color and the Kidsilk is a lighter blue, which makes this have a nice modeled effect. With all the garments, I will show a clip of me wearing it, so you can see it on my body. And I really, as I said, I really enjoy the shape of it, the boxy fit. It drapes nicely. I think I did a bind off like wonderful. It is an Italian bind off, and I think this is one of the best one I ever did. And it was probably the first. Not too tight, love it. The only downside to this sweater is that I don't like mohair. I don't like it. It's itchy. So I need to wear this with a high neck top underneath this. It can be sleeveless. I would prefer a long sleeve t-shirt underneath this, but then it would be way too hot for me. So I don't wear this as much as I would like. But I like it so much that at the moment I'm working on a second sweater number 18 without mohair. But this is a special piece for me, because this was one that I was so proud of, so excited by. And I started the year off great, I think. It's just my fabric choice, but I get better at fabric choices. So that is sweater number 18, the first one. And then in January, I also finished one of my success numbers, which is vest number 5 by my favorite things knitwear. I've shown you this a couple of times before. I started this in December 2023. It was the same with the sweater, but this is like a really cute layering piece. As I said, vest number 5 by my favorite things knitwear. I heavily modified it in the sense that I used a completely different yarn that the pattern suggests, which gives it a totally different look, because I used Drops Alpaca Bouclé in black, as you can see. It does attract all the fluff, all the hairs, like everything, but it's so easy to wear. So I held 3 strands of the Drops Alpaca Bouclé together. It's a pain to knit, because also because it's black and because of the yarn, it is nearly impossible to count your stitches, especially row stitches, row to count that. And you need to do that in a pattern. So you need to be really mindful with knitting. But in the end, I really enjoyed it. It has a little slit. And you can see the ribbing, the 1 by 1. But it's so chunky because this is knit on, I think, needle size 10. It is really large. I do have to say it's too big. It is an extra large, I believe. But this is an item that I most of the time wear when I'm cold. So when I have a normal outfit on, maybe a sweater, a homemade sweater even, and I take this with me, and if I'm feeling a little bit cold, this can be worn on top of it because it's big enough. I can wear this on top of my chunkiest knits and it still fits. So that makes it a really practical piece. Although I do like styling this, but it's just more practical. And I have so many garments now that I need to choose what I want to wear, and I can't wear everything every week, and I'm sad about that. So yeah. Vest number 5. And that concludes January. I did knit some, I think, Nelly neck warmers that month. And maybe I knit my first sock in January. And then in February, I was working on some sweaters, but didn't finish any. And that's because in March, I finished one of my biggest pieces I've ever knit still. And it's the Moby Sweater Man. So I made this sweater for my, well, then boyfriend. Boyfriend sweater course is real for me, I do have to say. So I'm not going to make any sweaters anymore for any boyfriends in the future. Not maybe until I have a ring on my finger. I'll make hats or socks. Anyways, I still wanted to show you it. I can reach it because, well, he's still living here. So yeah, I even tried it on to show you, and I do like the Moby. I like a textured knit. I do think the brown suits me, but I'm going to let him keep it because this has so many memories. I've made this especially for him. I don't want to keep it for myself. But this is a textured cabled sweater with 2 large cables framing the middle section with the faux cables. The cross and the back is the same, and the edges are with and the sleeves, most of the sleeves, with a double moss stitch. So this is so much work. Look at how big it is. It's heavy, it's really big. As you saw on myself, it's way too long for me. I would, if I want to make a Moby for myself, I want it to be more width-wise, a little bit more oversized and more cropped. So maybe like 30 centimeters shorter. So this is the Moby Sweater Man by Petiteknit. I've knitted this in Drops Merino Extra Fine, which is a superwash wool, which wasn't a great choice, to be honest. But I didn't have the knowledge of yarn back then. And it grew too much with blocking. But I do have to say, I haven't washed this once, I think. It still smells fine, and it hasn't peeled all that much. I mean, I can see it flattens out a little bit more, so it's like a really tiny bit of felting will happen, but I don't feel like it peels. And I had expected this to peel like so much because he's worn this quite a lot. But I think it's still, the sun is helping. I think it still looks good. I'm not going to work with this yarn anymore, by the way, but it's just with I want yarn that will last, hopefully, like a long time in the future. So maybe I will knit this pattern again for myself. I'm not sure yet because it is so much work. But I enjoyed knitting the cables. I didn't enjoy this middle section. I have made the Ingrid sweater. I will show you in a bit. And I find it hard to keep this neat. But yeah, I need to show you this in my year of knitting and year of progress. And now I'm going to say goodbye to it. That was March. Next month I was working on a lot of other things this month as well. But I finished my Monday sweater, which also means, I believe in February I went to the Handwerkbeurs, which is a craft fair here in the Netherlands, and with my offline knitting friends, or at least since then, they're my offline knitting friends. For Heike and Jasmijn, it was the first time meeting them, and we spent the whole day browsing around, looking for yarn. And this is one of the yarns that I bought. It's hand-dyed yarn by Apmezga, the Columba base, which means it's 80% merino, 20% silk. I'm not sure anymore, and I don't know the color, but it is stunning. It's kind of like a cherry color with pinks and reds and purples. And I did helical knitting with this, and I actually did helical knitting with 3 strands of yarn, because 2 of the skeins were the same yarn base, and I was stubborn and I bought 1 skein in a different dye lot, which was a lot redder, and I knew that wasn't smart, but I was so in love with the pink version of it. And in the end, you can't see it at all. It blended so well, so beautiful. And this is one of my favorite knits, and it's so soft and drapey and beautiful. So let's talk pattern. This is the Monday sweater by Petiteknit. It is a raglan construction, and you start with short rows in the back. And if I'm looking correctly, no, the Moby sweater I think is the first sweater I knitted with short row shaping. So I did, is that even true? No, that's a drop shoulder sweater. This is the first sweater I think I did with German short rows, and then helical knitting and figurating that out. That was quite a lot, but I enjoy this pattern. It has a raglan with 2 or 3 stitches in between, so it's nice and thick. Actually, the pattern calls for a DK weight, so fingering with mohair held double. I'm stubborn, as I said, so I used fingering weight and a smaller needle size. So I had to be creative with my sizing. I think I sized up 1 or 2 sizes, but it's still nice and loose. Because that's something you're going to see in this video a lot. I like my clothing, especially my sweaters, kind of loose fitting, and I like oversized a lot. So let's talk about the fabric. Oh, that's bright. I do have to say I see some like fluffs and pilling happening over here on the collar, and I think it could use a shave, but it's not too bad. It's turning in a little bit of a review video, but maybe I'll do a separate in-depth video some other time. So yeah, I don't wear this at the moment because I think it's too cold. It's quite a thin fabric, as you can see. It's just fingering weight yarn held single, so it's not all that warm, but it's perfect for like fall and spring weather and the transition weather. I could wear this with a long sleeve underneath this, though I don't do it because I have a lot of sweaters, but yeah, I like this. And I like the big 1x1 rib. I did a twisted rib, by the way. So I really like that statement. And I love this pattern for this yarn. Would totally knit the pattern again. Okay, next. I think I need to go faster. I knitted the Weekend Slipover V-neck by Petiteknit. As you can tell, I'm a big Petiteknit fan. And my favorite thing is knitwear fan, especially in the beginning of the year. In the summertime, I've tried a lot of different designers, other designers, but for sweaters, they just hit the spot for me. So this is a V-neck slipover, as you can see. The yarn is Filcolana Peruvian Highland wool, which has become one of my favorite yarns. It's DK going on worsted weight yarn. I think this is knitted on 5.5 millimeters, so it went really quickly. I really liked doing this ribbing and then that V shape. I made it cropped. I do feel like it could have been way more oversized for my taste, and I think it's really hard to style. But I don't really think this is, it suits my body the best. I don't think. And the color, I like pink a lot, as you can probably tell after this video. Pink is one of my favorite colors to knit or to wear, or like anything pink. So I really wanted to make this in pink, but I haven't thought enough about, is that a practical color to layer with the rest of my items in my wardrobe? Whole other story. So that is my second knit of April. And then I have the Champagne Cardigan by Petiteknit. This is knitted in Novita Woolly Wood, which is a blend of viscose and cotton, maybe? I've totally forgot. But it's a raglan cardigan. It has the same thickness, thick raglan band as the Monday sweater, which I really like. It has a double knitted button band, which I also love the look of. And I don't really mind doing it, to be honest. So this is one of my 3 cardigans that I've knitted this year. And I really like it, although the buttons are too small for the buttonholes, so they fall out really easily. It is big and oversized, but really cropped, and it's a really loose fabric. That's one of the things I don't really like about how I made this, but here you can see right through it, because, well, I actually needed to use mohair, and I was stubborn and I didn't use mohair because it itches. So I went down a needle size, but I think I should have gone down more to make a denser fabric and then like hassle with the sizing. But with raglan, that's okay to do. You can do that quite easily. So I already think I sized up and went down a needle size. But because it's such a loose fabric, you can see the white t-shirt underneath this, and it's more of a cold knit. So for me, this is a spring fall knit or summer knit even, not a winter knit. Also because of the fabric is like more of a summer fabric. So I really like this pattern. I would totally knit a champagne cardigan again, but then with different yarn, definitely. But I really like the fit of this. And I was so proud of myself, because a cardigan with so much, with everything knitting flat except for the sleeves and the double knitted bottom band, I was so proud of myself. I really enjoy this knit still. I need to wear this more. And that concludes April. Next, we're going on to May. I actually made the vest number 5, my black vest, again in a beige color for a friend. So I don't have that to show. Maybe I'll put in a picture of it, because it's so versatile and she likes to wear this type of vest a lot. And I really want a beige one for myself, but I don't really like working on that one. So I don't know if I'm going to do that. Maybe I want this one in black or beige with smaller, but I want to use a different pattern next time. And in April, May, I was so done with the sweater and the winter knits that I started on the summer knits, and I immediately went super summery with this piece. So this is the Svila Camisole by Caidree. And it's quite a basic camisole with the triangles, and the cups in the front are bigger then the triangles in the back. It has a really nice increase. The way you increase, you get this line, which is a nice detail. And the edges are with like a built-in I-cord. They're neat and I-cord straps. So as you can see, this is really cropped. I used one skein of a hand-dyed yarn from a Dutch hand dyer, MYPZ. I knitted something for them, and then in exchange I got 3 skeins of hand-dyed yarn. So this is one of them, and I just wanted to use this. It is a merino sock yarn, so 75% merino, 25% nylon, but it's soft enough. I've washed this, I think it's becoming softer still, and I didn't want to make socks with that. That felt like such a waste of expensive yarn. Now I would think a little bit different about that, but back then. So this is really cropped, and it's really big and loose fitting. I do think I knitted the suggested size, but in the edge of it, like the bigger, that it falls bigger. I think it falls a little bit too pointy here at like my stomach area. But this is a piece that I don't wear outside of the house. Like I wear this in the garden, or maybe this is a piece for me on holiday when it's hot outside and I don't want anything like sticking to my body. This is nice and loose and airy and colorful and fun. That's basically all I can say about this, I think. So this was my first ever summer top that I've ever knitted. And I'm evolving, I can say that for sure. Then in June, the Tolsta Tee was out. So I've made 1, 2, 3. How many Tolsta Tees did I make? Oh, maybe 3, but I was planning on 4 or 5. But the first Tolsta Tee by the Creabea Rebecca Clow that I made is a black one with the eyelet details. I saw this, so one of the testers had done that, and I really enjoyed it. So I don't have the pearl bumps, it's just eyelet, so it's nice and smooth. The yarn black, so all the fluff and dog hairs are on it. The yarn I have to look up is Lan Grossa Linea Pura Solo Lino. A long name. Anyways, it's 100% recycled linen, I believe. And it's quite soft for linen yarn. It's really drapey. And I just really fell for the Tolsta hype, to be honest. It is a raglan. It's a really simple construction. I don't know if I like this one stitch raglan with the increases. I like the thicker one from the Monday and the Champagne cardigan more. But I understand for a summery piece this is more dainty and more suitable. And I don't really like the really wide neckline of the Tolsta. That I must say. But otherwise I really enjoy this pattern. As I said, I've already made 3 of them. And I love how this falls on my body. It's just so drapey, so flowy, so easy to wear. And when it's hot outside, this is so handy, especially on my teaching job, because I want my shoulders covered. Although I do have to say I need to wear something on top, like underneath this, because with just a bra, this is too see-through for my job. So maybe like a black sports bra thingy, I can pull off that and then have a little bit of my belly showing, peeking through the eyelets. That's okay for me. Or just a vest top underneath this. So this one is definitely a success, and I love the yarn. I like how drapey it is. I do have to say it is really loosely knit. I struggled with the gauge with this as well. That's a recurrent theme of the year. could have gone down a needle size more, but in the end for summer piece it doesn't matter. Then in June I've made my next summer top, which is the Sugarboo bralette by Caidree, the Sugarboo bralette DK. I love this color of pink. This, for me, I feel like is the perfect nude. I can't put off like a beigey color. This is my nude pink. The yarn is Rico Design Fashion Silk Blend DK. So this is cotton and silk, I believe. It's a lovely soft fabric, lovely next to skin soft. But I don't think it blocks all that nicely. And especially with the ribbing, and as you can see in the clip of me wearing it, it stands out. It's like white and flowy, but actually the pattern needs the ribbing like to cinch in and stuck on your body. Then it is a bralette. Now it's a flowy top for me, really cropped, that I do have to say. But I don't really mind because I'm not going to wear such like an mini piece of garment outside of the house. I'm a little bit more modestly dressed most of the time. So this is one for around the house. And I do like how neat the edges look with the pattern, and yeah, the instructions for how to do the transition, picking up stitches, etc. I really love that. Good pattern. So I would totally make this again, but with different yarn, although it's so lovely and soft. And then we're fully in summer. In July, I made this Tolsta Tee. Yeah, I have to look up the order. One of my favorite color combinations is pink and red. And I do have to say the red really pops out. So this is almost the same soft pink. And I've used quite a lot of different yarns for this one. The light pink is Go Handmade Bamboo Double. So it's a DK bamboo yarn. It was a bamboo with cotton blend, I think, with Lan Grossa Setasuri, which is a lovely substitute for mohair, for me at least. It has almost the same yardages as mohair, and it's something that I can tolerate. Oh, the fluff. And the red yarn is Drops Cotton Merino. It's not a yarn that I would usually pick out, but it has the same thickness, and I could get gauge. So the pink one does have fluff, the red one doesn't. So it's nice and quite a different texture, but it's really soft. Again, it's nice and drapey. It is more of a boxy fit because I made this a lot shorter, but the sleeves a little bit bigger or longer. And I think I chose a bigger size because it's nice and wide. So yeah, a typical me finished object with the pink and the red. Next, for in July, I have one other really summery piece. I think this is such a cool knit. This is the Look at My Holes tee by James N. Watts. And I was shooting all the clips of me wearing all the pieces, and I put this on, and I think it's so cool that I made this. This is the first real lace, or the first lace garment that I made. Maybe I've made the Penelope kerchief, is like a thing, like a headpiece, which has lace in it, and I really like doing that. But we're talking garments today. So this was really a challenge. But James and Watts has really good instruction videos for the lace pattern and also the increasing. It is a raglan, as you can see. It even has German short row shaping in the back. And this pattern actually is intended to be nice and body hugging, and it's really edgy piece. If you look up this pattern on Ravelry or on Instagram, everyone wears this differently, and it's so cool. Like some make long sleeves with them, or sleeveless, cropped, really long. You can make this a dress even, I think, and you can style it so fun with what you wear underneath this. But I do have to say, styling of this is hard for me because this is quite out of my comfort zone. Um, and I've just wore this with like a black spaghetti strapped top underneath this, or maybe a black bralette, but then I can't wear it to work. And I do have to say, it's better on like black jeans, to be honest. I've made this, I think, 2 sizes up because I wanted to have this loose fitting, so it's not too edgy, and I succeeded at that. I really like this. The yarn is the same as my first Tolsta Tee, so the Lan Grossa linen yarn. This was left over. So I really like this pattern, and I would like to make one again, but I'm not because I don't even wear this one a lot. Okay, next we're going to August, and in July, August I was on holiday in Spain, so this is basically my holiday knitting. This one I finished after, but started before the holiday, before I went to Spain. Tolsta number 3 with hand-dyed yarn. I also bought at the Handwerk Beurs in February. It's from a Dutch hand dyer yarn hand. I struggle with this every video. A Dutch designer that makes the yarn. Wol met Verve, and this is a sock yarn. Again, it's not really that soft, unfortunately. It is a little bit scratchy, but I can wear this, and this is so fun. If you want to know me in a yarn, what would that be? Well, it would be this. Pink, colorful, sparkly, confetti, fun. This is what makes me happy, to be honest. So I've made quite a lot of pink things. I also had a really blue phase, and there's still some blue coming, but I really enjoy color. So yeah, and this one is like a picture of this Tolsta blew up on my Instagram, and that was really fun. So yeah, and then the thing that I've knitted on in Spain, and this is one of the most beautiful pieces that I've made, and it's the Barbara top by Knitting for Olive. It's an all over lace pattern with the same lace stitch repeat, and the bottom has a really cute scalloped edge, and I really enjoyed working on this. It was a little bit of pain in the ass in the first. The yarn that I used is Sandnes Tin Lina. The first time I was using Sandnes yarn, and I love how drapey this is. I love the color. It really suits me. I think it's like a dusty green, something like that it will be called probably. And it's a fingering weight yarn. And as I said, I had tension and gauge problems because I became a really loose knitter after I had like a knitting injury in my shoulder and my arm and my elbow and everywhere. I started to relax more with knitting. Also, burnout went away, so I became more relaxed with my knitting. But in the end, I need to go down needle sizes so much. I think this pattern calls for 3.5, and I've in the end knitted it on 2.5 millimeter. But it's so stunning. It's such a beautiful piece. And I haven't even worn it yet. Maybe one time in Spain, tucked in a skirt. But I'm not really the type of girl to wear sleeveless tops on top of long jeans. But I'm not a short pants summer like person. In the summertime, I wear dresses, most of the time long maxi dresses at the moment, or skirts. And I don't like short jeans, or I don't even know what the word in English is. I don't think that suits my body type at all. I like dresses and skirts. And this is hard to match or wear with a skirt. I've made it quite long so I can wear it on top of jeans. Also because I had the yarn and it's such a beautiful, and I made it shorter than a pattern suggests. I need to figure out how to style this and layer it up, but I do love it. And now they have a blouse pattern with this lace pattern with a long sleeve. Maybe that's something for me if I really want to make this again and I make a wearable version. But yeah, love this. It's beautiful. And I think that concluded my summer knitting for this year. And it's enough because I don't wear it all that often and I really, really, really like making sweaters, etc. Also in the summer I was already working on this cardigan. I started I think in June, but I finished this in September. So this is my second cardigan. This is the Field Day cardigan by Ozetta. As I said, in the summertime, I've stayed away from Petiteknit and my favorite things knitwear, and now we're slowly getting back to them. This is a drop shoulder V-neck cardigan, and it has a 1x1 ribbed a button band that you knit at the same time as the cardigan. I've made the sleeves really tapered, so it's nice and practical that they don't hang in like my foot or anything. This one is still cropped, but a little bit longer than my champagne. In the back you can see the seam over here. And I've paired it with these dark shiny buttons. The yarn is by Phil Berdingot tweed colorway. So it is a tweed yarn, and the yarn is a cotton viscose blend, I believe. So this is quite a summery fabric. It's a lot heavier because of it plant-based fiber, and it's nice and cool to the touch. So this for me feels more of a spring, summer, fall item, and I don't gravitate towards this at the moment, probably also because of the color. But I do like how soft this yarn is. I've worn it a couple of times, not a whole lot. But I finished this in September, so I didn't have a whole lot of time. Next, another gift knit that I can show you. The Weekend Slipover V-neck I made for my sister with Drops Flora and brushed alpaca silk by Drops held together. If you want to look it up, it's a couple of episodes ago, podcast episodes. And next I made the Sonia sweater. I really wanted to make the Marseille sweater. I already had the pattern, and I want to make a pink with red stripes one. So I bought the yarn. This is the color. The pink is Drops Flora with brushed alpaca silk held together, and the red stripes is Drops North and brushed alpaca silk. And then I couldn't get gauge for the Marseille sweater. Like, I was completely off gauge. So I had to pick a different pattern because I had to modify it so much that it felt easier to pick a different pattern. So this is the Sonia sweater by Petiteknit, but I did the stripes based on where they are in the Marseille sweater. So it's a drop shoulder, really, really, really oversized. I don't think it fits in frame. It has a different construction that I was used to. It is a drop shoulder, but you start really with a straight rectangle in the back. And the short rows are on the shoulders, so in the portions you pick up stitches and then you do short rows for the front. So that's a little bit different. In the sleeves I ended up with 3 stripes because my arms are too short for the pattern. So yeah, I have mixed feelings about this one. I like pink and red together, but I don't think this is the best pink and red color combination that I could come up with. I like the pink a little bit lighter, to be honest. Not as light as this one, but more, well, somewhere in between. I don't think the Sonia sweater is something for me. It's maybe too oversized. I think it calls for 30 centimeters of positive ease, and I like to stick with the pattern for the ease. It's designed that way. I chose an oversized sweater, so I want that look. But even for me, it's maybe a little bit too oversized. So at the sides, it's becoming pointy. Maybe it's also because my sweaters are cropped. But I do like to wear it tucked in the front, and it makes me happy. The color combination makes me happy. Don't like the fabric, to be honest. This is one of the last times that I used drops and the brushed Alpaca silk, and I want to stay away from brushed Alpaca silk. I don't think it's all that nice, and I've fallen in love with other yarns. And also I've worn this a couple of times, and you can see it is starting to peel and it needs a shave, but also it has felted under the armpits here. And when I wear this isn't anywhere near my armpits. Like, it's so oversized. Maybe it happened when I was wearing my coat on top of it and it became a little bit sweaty. So that happened really fast and I don't really like that. So I'm just going to wear this until it's ugly, and then I'm going to make another pink with red striped sweater, or pink with green. That's something for the next year. So that is everything that I finished in September. We're getting close. In October I finished only one piece, and that is what I'm wearing right now. This is the Lento sweater by Jonna Hietala. It was originally a pattern that was in Lane magazine. It's a raglan construction, short row shaping in the back. I did the neckline a little bit higher up, and it has tapered sleeves. To be honest, I think the sleeves are a little bit too short, but all the sleeves grow so much with blocking and then they shrink up, and these shrank a little bit too much. That's something that bothers me. And this is one of the sweaters, I have to say, that isn't all that oversized. It's nice and loose fitting. I think I did the sizing really well. With raglan you can adjust it. It could have been a little bit tighter maybe, but I think this is the most comfortable for me. And the yarn is really special. So this is a hand-dyed yarn by one of my offline knitting friends, one of my best friends, Fem, from the Mindful Creators. I've talked about that and her yarn so much already. But this is from her cottage collection. It's the blue hydrangea, so it has the variegated blues, but as you can see it also has specks of green, like a hydrangea flower. And I held it together with Lan Grossa Setasuri in a light blue. And the fabric is so stunning. I really like this on top of jeans. I like the color combination, also darker jeans. It is so soft and so beautiful. I just love this. I think this is one of my favorite fabrics. I did knit this on needle size 6, I think. There's a needle size of the pattern, 6 millimeters. Maybe in the needle size down, the fabric is a little bit denser than it would have been. Maybe a little bit of prettier fabric, but I was so glad I finally had the right gauge with the right needle size, and I could just go on with the pattern and didn't have to change sizes, etc. So yeah, that is my October knit. And then November. 3 sweaters to go. I finished, I was working on it quite some time, another blue. This is one of my favorite knits of the year. The Ingrid sweater by Petiteknit. I've worn perfume with this, so it smells lovely. Yes, the Ingrid sweater by Petiteknit, and I used Sandnesgarn Peer Gynt, one of my favorite yarns. It's quite a rustic yarn for me, so I wear this with a high neck sleeveless top underneath this, and then it's so comfortable, and I feel like this yarn will last me my whole life. I really hope so. So this is an all over textured sweater with different panels of texture. It's really heavy. This weighs a lot. Drop shoulder. I feel like it could have been one size up width-wise, but my gauge was really off in the length. I already went down needle sizes, of course, and I had to skip one whole section, and I still think this is maybe a little bit too long, but I really like embracing the oversized sweater with this one. It's such a cool sweater, and I love the color. This bright electric blue, it's stunning. I like bright knits, and that's something I want to keep on doing in the new year. So yeah, I would totally knit with Peer Gynt again. Maybe I would even knit this sweater again, but then with a different yarn, so hopefully I can get gauge. Because it's really hard when you have all these textured panels, sections, and you are completely off gauge and everything is turning out way too long. But yeah, I love this. This is such a wonderful, beautiful knit. I think it's Miss Dior. It's my signature scent. Well, actually the original Miss Dior perfume, but that's a whole other story. Okay, and next I have my Lyon sweater by Petiteknit in Drops Daisy. I really love how soft this is. The fit of it. It is quite oversized. It could have been sized down, I think. So maybe next time, because I do want to make the sweater again, maybe I want to size down to a medium. But it is a contiguous construction, is that what they call? But it ends with a raglan. So it is a raglan sweater, but up until here, so the top part, it's like a puzzle. You do short sections and then you join them in a round and then you go to raglan. Really hard to explain. I've tried it multiple times in videos, but you get a really different shoulder construction. I really like doing that. I really think it's beautiful. It fits really nice. And then you have the stripes, and it is my first, well, I did stripes before, but the first garment with the narrow stripes and stripes in a raglan increases, which was new to me. I also carried up the yarn, which was new to me. I really like how this looks and how it feels, and I love to wear this. I've worn this maybe a couple of times, like 4 days in total, 4 or 5 days, and maybe like shooting a video. And I want to make a review video, but for those who are curious, how does the Drops Daisy hold? Because this is a 100% non-superwash merino by Drops, and it has launched this year, and it's supposed to be a dupe for the Sandnesgarn Double Sunday. I am working with Double Sunday at the moment in one of my whips, so I will come back to you with a comparison, but this is softer, smoother than Double Sunday, and so far I don't like how it holds up. So this is the inside of the sleeve, and with it being striped and the blue pilling falls on the white and reverse, you can see the pilling. And this is after a shave. After last time, I will put in a picture of me when I wore it last time. It was so messy, and I really wanted to shave it so I can wear it when I want to. Maybe I will wear it now for a couple of times and then do the review video so you can see on video how it looks. But this is the body. I don't know if the camera picks it up all that well, but I can still see some pilling over here. This is wearable. I would wear this again, but I'm a little bit afraid after one day of wearing it, I feel the need to shave it. And that's too much for me. If I want to be honest, like it is a cheap yarn. I probably spent about 40 euros for this sweater, but I've also spent a lot of hours knitting this, and now I feel like I don't maybe want to wear it because I want to preserve it, or maybe I don't want to wear it because it gets ugly so fast. But I do want to wear it and like make use of all the hours that I've spent on this, because I really enjoy the sweater. I really enjoy it. I would totally knit this again, but I think with Filcolana Peruvian Highland wool, not with Daisy. And Daisy is maybe a good yarn for like Christmas ornaments. If you have some scraps lying around, or you want one ball of white yarn for December bows, for example, or objects that you don't wear. Maybe that's my honest opinion. It looks wonderful when you knit it. It knits so wonderful, so nice. It was gliding on my needles and I loved it. But maintenance is a lot. I think that concludes the Leon sweater. So I will definitely make this pattern again, with or without stripes. And with this color palette, definitely. But with a different yarn. And then we're up to December and one final knit. And it is one of my favorite. I have said it so much. It's my current obsession. It's Cardigan number 8 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. So I started with My Favorite Things Knitwear and I'm ending it. It's a drop shoulder cardigan, a v-neck, with my double knitted button band that I love so much. This one is nice and oversized, and I've made this longer than my others. It still looks cropped, to be honest, but this feels a little bit bigger. I really like wearing this buttoned up or unbuttoned, and I love this. The yarn is Filcolana Peruvian Highland wool, held together with Rico Make It Sweet. And the Peruvian Highland wool, I use the color Marzipan. That's the beigey off-white base. And then Make It Sweet adds all the color. Not only the tweedy specks, but also, as you can see here, the rainbow, stripy. A little bit of color pooling, but I don't care. Don't mind that. And that makes this such a fun piece. This is me, also me in a piece. I like the bright blue or the variegated pink, but I also like the little bit more subtle rainbow speckled vibes. Oh, I love this so much. I've worn this quite some time, ever since I finished this in December. It was, I think, mid-December. I've took this with me on to Spain with Christmas. I've worn it. So it is starting to peel a little bit here under the arms, as you can see. but that's okay. It's a wool sweater, cardigan, it will pill. But this is manageable. And a mother of pearl buttons. I've sewed them on a little bit too tight maybe, because these scallops, don't really like that, so I just pull on it. I'm too lazy to do anything else with this. So yeah, that's my last finished object of this year, and I finished strong, I do have to say. So right now I'm working on sweater number 18, the Storm Sweater by Petiteknit, the Elizabeth Blouse by Petiteknit, and Camisole number 9 by my favorite things knitwear, and a pair of socks. So I have a lot of my needles, but I will show you them in my next knitting podcast, or next year in the 2024 roundup. They will all be present at the start. So those are the 21 garments that I finished. And as I said, one of my knitting resolutions for next year, for this year, I do have to say, because it's January 1st when I'm filming this, one of my knitting resolutions is to knit less. Because this is not normal, this is not sustainable financially. I've already reached a point that I feel overwhelmed with all the choices that I can wear every day or weekly, and I want to give all my pieces, all the sweaters, the love that they deserve, because I've put in so much attention and time in them, and I can't, because I don't have so many days in a week. So I still want to keep knitting, of course, but be more mindful with my knitting. So don't speed knit, and maybe choose pieces that are more intricate. For example, I want to make a porcelain sweater, maybe sometime, and that's color work. So that would be my first color work garment. That would take up a little bit more time. So yeah, I want to knit less, but hopefully also I'm moving, as I said, in a week and a half. So I don't think I will knit all that much in January, to be honest, because I'm busy with my house, my new apartment. What did I want to say? Also, but then after I've moved, I hope I get a new routine, and all the evenings are free. I don't have a boyfriend anymore to do stuff with in the evening, like watching movies or playing games anymore. So I can knit all the evenings, but hopefully it can be a little bit less obsessive and more the creative process more in the forefront. And also I want to learn new stuff. I'm currently working on my first colorwork socks, and I really enjoy that. So I want to make a colorwork garment. I want to make more fingering weight projects, because I love the look of fingering weight projects. And as I said, I'm working on Camisole number 9, and I love it so far. So I already have yarn for a couple of more or other similar type pieces, layering pieces. So I want to be intentional about the garments that I choose to make and how I will wear them. Because as I said, there are a lot of hits that I've made this year, but also a couple of misses, or pieces that I'm a little bit doubtful about. Like, how much will I wear it? How do I style it? So I want to be a little bit more mindful about that. I want to stay away from drops. I feel like I've just really enjoyed knitting with other brands, and I want to venture more with that, and also be a little bit more sustainable with the yarn choices that hopefully last longer. And yeah, I feel like I'm just rambling now, and I haven't prepared this, so it's all over the place. But if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the last year of being with me and my knitting journey. And hopefully I will see you in the next video. I wish you all the best, and all the health and the mental health and all the joy of knitting in this new year. Thank you so much, and hopefully see you next soon. time. Bye bye.